I recently identified what I now call the 4 Bs of child rearing. They're not found in textbooks. They're not endorsed by any reputable parenting authority. They are not necessarily effective, but they are real. Bargaining, bribery, begging, burnout. The list isn't exhaustive. It's also not always linear. But if multiple stages occur in a single parenting incident, they often unfold in exactly that order. You can almost set your watch to it. They are probably listed in order of parental dignity, effectiveness, and eventual remorse. And like all stages of development, the 4 Bs evolve as your children grow. The tactics change, the tone changes, the volume increases, the guilt deepens. Let me explain. Starting with toddlers, tiny humans with large opinions. When our kids were toddlers, they were pure kinetic energy, crawling, wobbling first steps, fingers in electrical sockets, scaling furniture like mountaineers with no life insurance. They seemed to understand nothing, and yet pushed back on everything. Patience grew thin at times. Timeouts were introduced. Jackson did not agree with the concept. When placed in timeout, he would stand up and run. It was less a disciplinary measure and more a cardio workout for the parents. Jamie, on the other hand, felt guilt deeply. She would sit and cry. The tears often felt like they were for both of us. But the 4 Bs were already in full effect. Bargaining. Okay, just 5 more minutes at the playground. As if they understood what 5 minutes meant. Time is an abstract concept. Slides are not. Bribery. 1 more bite and you can have some screen time. Yeah, we began the addiction early. Parenting humility requires confession. Begging. Please, just put your pants on. Why are we negotiating with someone who prefers to eat meals under the table like a jungle cat? And then burnout. Physically placing a screaming toddler in the timeout corner and holding the line. Sometimes literally holding them until the storm passed. Not our proudest moments. Eventually the screams turned to sobs. Eventually the sobs turned to silence. And sometimes, if we're honest, silence felt like victory, but it rarely felt noble. Next, preteen, where awareness changes the game. Fast forward a few years, now they understand time, they understand fairness, they understand loopholes. The 4 Bs return, but slightly more sophisticated. Bargaining. Just 5 more minutes of video games. Deja vu. But now they are fully aware of what 5 minutes means and will stretch it like your dignity in a public meltdown. Bribery. If we go for a bike ride, we'll stop for ice cream. I mean, really, there could be worse negotiations. Exercise and dairy, that's practically holistic parenting. Begging. Okay, jump in the car. Please, just get in the car. Hey, in the car. Get your butt in the car now. Tone escalation is swift. Authority feels fragile. Neighbors are listening. And then the handoff. Burnout. Over to you, Belinda. You teach primary. They're not in my high school wheelhouse yet. Parental tag team. Substitution required. One of us exits before saying something we'll regret. Effectiveness? Variable. Dignity? Questionable. Remorse? Growing. Finally, teenagers. Same song, different key. Now the 4 Bs wear cologne and borrow your shoes. Teenagers bring independence, logic, and selective hearing. Bargaining. If you do the dishes, you can stay out 30 minutes later. This one often works. Mutual benefit, shared compromise, feels almost mature. Bribery, do the dishes and you get to pick tonight's movie. Semi-happy kids, semi-happy parents. The dishes get done. We watch something we didn't choose. Begging. Your mom and I have done the dishes the last few days. Please, just take your turn. Now it's less about authority and more about fairness. The hollow victory looms large. Even if they comply, you wonder, are you happy if you know they aren't? And then burnout. The dishes need to be done before you leave the house. I'm going for a workout. Alone. Sometimes space is the only wise move. Distance prevents damage. Sweat absorbs frustration. Burnouts look different now. It's quieter, less dramatic than toddler tears, but it can cut deeper because teenagers remember. Over time, we've noticed patterns. Let's call these patterns the effectiveness spectrum. Bargaining often leads to mutual satisfaction, unless it requires parents to stay up later than their own sanity allows. Bribery produces functional peace. No one's thrilled, no one's furious. It's diplomacy with a dessert. Begging is the most deflating. One party concedes unwillingly, the other wins without joy. It feels transactional, thin. And burnout? That's the emotional hangover. Both sides frustrated, parents sometimes carrying guilt long after the moment has passed. Ironically, sometimes in the form of fireside stories. The realization that authority exercised poorly leaves residue. The 4Bs are real. They happen. They are part of the messy laboratory of raising humans. But they are not the end of the story. What we've learned over time through playground negotiations, car park standoffs, and dishwashing diplomacy, we've learned that the best conflict resolution tool is painfully unsexy. Open communication. Listening. Actually hearing what they're saying beneath the resistance. Explaining why something matters instead of defaulting to, because I said so. Modeling negotiation instead of weaponizing power. Showing them how conflict can be navigated, not conquered. It doesn't eliminate frustration. It doesn't make teenagers leap toward chores with enthusiasm. It doesn't erase toddler meltdowns. But it builds something quieter and stronger. Trust. When we talk it out, when we're willing to give a little as they grow in independence, something shifts. They feel seen, we feel respected, the bargaining becomes collaborative rather than combative. And perhaps most importantly, they watch how we handle disagreement. They are learning from every B. They're learning how to negotiate, how to advocate, how to hold a boundary, how to apologize, even how to step away when emotions spike. That may be the hidden gift of the 4Bs, but that they reveal our humanity. There will still be frustration. There will still be slammed doors and eye rolls and moments when parental pride evaporates. That, however, is a story for another day. Tonight, by the fireside, I simply acknowledge this. Parenting is less about mastering techniques and more about refining character. The 4Bs may visit, but communication, imperfect, patient, ongoing, is what slowly takes their place. And if we're lucky, our kids will one day look back and remember not the bribery or the burnout, but the conversations.